Okay, so I'm going to start off by doing a pan view for my audience members. Say hello. Yes, again, you don't have to there's that. I just want to start off by thanking you all for coming again. I know we were all here last time for my last speech. I really appreciate your time tonight, as well as I did last time. So tonight I'm bringing you here to demonstrate how to make the famous chocolate chip cookie. Now, how many of you have made chocolate chip cookies before? Okay, so most of us here have made a cookie or chocolate chip cookies before. Now, for those of you that haven't, don't worry. It is a rather simple procedure. It goes, I don't know, I'd say roughly about 20 minutes from start to finish, depending on how many batches you have to do of cookies. Sometimes you can get them all in one batch, but from start to finish, it's about 20 minutes, and it's in about 7 simple steps that I'm going to take you through. So, first step is you're going to want to combine your dry ingredients. This includes 2 1/4 cups of flour. Now, when you measure out your flour, you definitely want to make sure that you are doing it evenly. You don't want to have any overflow of flour. Flour is what makes the cookie drier. The more flour you have, the more crunchy a cookie you'll have. So if you like chewy cookies, you definitely don't want to go overboard on the flour. The next what you're going to add here is a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder, or baking soda, I apologize. So what you're going to do is mix this just a couple times around, not much. It's not, a whole lot of ingredients in here. We definitely want to make sure that it's mixed thoroughly. So then you're going to want to set that aside. The next step includes mixing softened butter, 2 sticks of softened butter, and sugar, and then your vanilla. So I always like to, for my butter, I always like to make sure that I take out my 2 sticks of butter ahead of time to soften them. But if you are short on time, you got a school, kids that need to bring cookies to school, or you need to bring in something to work or something like that, and you just need to do something quick, you can always take the butter. You stick it in the microwave, you flip it on each side about, I'd say 5 seconds or so. From anywhere between 15 and 20 seconds, that's usually pretty, enough. You don't want it to be melted. If you melt the butter, you're definitely going to have a different texture with your cookie. And it's also going to be a different color. If you melt butter, it'll actually turn your dough a lot darker. And then when it comes out of the oven, it actually looks burnt. So 2 sticks of softened butter, and then you're going to do 3/4 cups of white sugar and 3/4 cups of brown sugar. The brown sugar is brown because it has molasses in it. So this is part of the process that makes your cookies chewy. Let me just grab my whisk here. Now you can either do this by hand. You can do this with a hand mixer, or you can do it like I'm doing here with a stand-up mixer. Either way is fine. It doesn't really make a difference. You just want to make sure that you mix it well enough till it's all combined. You're also going to want to add a teaspoon of vanilla, just mix that in there like that. And you just want to keep mixing this really until it's softened and mixed together thoroughly. You can kind of tell once it starts to separate like that, you've got it pretty well mixed. I turn it off, and then I use a spatula such as this to kind of scrape it from the sides. Like this. And then you want to just mix it again, just for, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, just to make sure that it's combined. About like that, you're going to have this creamy mixture. looks like this. So your next step is you're going to want to add 2 eggs. Now the eggs is your binder, so it's going to hold the butter and sugar mixture with your flour mixture. So I think you'd want to just really do it one at a time. Sometimes when you do it, you know, all at once, it kind of splashes up. So if you do it one at a time, it's probably your safe bet. So again, let's just mix through this. Kind of just kind of get the feel for it. There's no real science to it. And here's your second egg. Again, just mix it until it's all the way through. You don't want to have any yolks sticking out on the side, or you definitely want to make sure, again, that we're going to scrape the bowl here in just a second to make sure that we get it all mixed and we don't have stuff sticking to the sides that doesn't have the egg mixture in it. You just want to do that way that your entire dough, you'll have an even mixture. You don't want to have something that doesn't have enough of the egg mixture, the sugar, the butter. It'll cause your cookies to cook unevenly. They'll taste differently, and things like that, texture-wise, everything. You just want to make sure everything's well and thoroughly mixed. So again, your mixture is going to look like this after you add your eggs. So it just is nice and whipped up. You can't see anything sticking out. You know, it's well mixed. That's what I get for showing you like this. So, our next step here is to add your flour mixture, and you definitely don't want to mix too much of it at one time. My sister once had mixed all of it at one time, and we had flour all over the kitchen. So you definitely want to make sure you do maybe half. I'd say half, you know, half to 3/4 or even 1/3 of the mixture. That way you don't get flour everywhere and it just is a bigger mess to clean it later. Now the flour, as I said before, was the part of the dough that makes it more crunchy. When it bakes in the oven, the heat is pulling all the moisture out of the cookie. So that's what leaves you with a more crunchy cookie. So the more flour you add, the more dry your dough is, the more crunchy it'll be. And it's all preference. Some people like them more crunchy, I like them more chewy, so I always want to make sure that I don't have too dry of a dough. And then just the last bit of flour here. I always start off slow just so that I don't have any splash up of any of the flour. Alright, and then you're just going to mix that until combined. While that's still mixing, you can get your chocolate chips ready. Now, there's all kinds of different size, shape, chocolate chips that you can use. I went with the semi-sweet, regular size morsels. But there's the minis, there's M&Ms that you can use, which is pretty much the same steps as this. There's also like butterscotch chips if you want to do a butterscotch cookie. They've got mint ones, all kinds of stuff. So when we mix up in the chocolate chips, which is called folding, you definitely don't want to have you don't want to have this mixture on it because it will cause the chocolate chips to kind of break up, and you don't want that. So you definitely just want to pour this in here just like this. Stir it up. So you kind of got it all mixed so it looks like this. And then my simple step to try and get these cookies made is I take this And I take a ice cream scoop, scoop it just like so, and then onto the board, and then it comes out nice and clean. So you're going to want to get all those scooped onto your cookie sheet. Now you can have non-stick cookie sheets. You can spray them if needed to keep them from sticking. But it's a pretty easy steps. You don't want to keep them too close together because they are going to spread out. But like I said, I like to use the ice cream scoop because it leaves me with an even amount of cookie. And then I don't have to do too much measuring, and it's simple, just, you know, grab and go. So you're going to want to get this all scooped onto the pan, and then you're going to stick this in the oven for about 9 minutes. I'd start with 9. It can go from anywhere to 9 to 11, but I definitely want to do start out with 9. You can always add more time. You can't always once they're burned, they're burned. So yeah. So like I said, this is 7 simple steps. And kind of once you get started and get going, it becomes kind of a second nature, and you can just whip them up in a flash whenever you need to. So any questions for me? Okay. Well, I appreciate you all coming, and I hope this was a simple, easy demonstration on how to make chocolate chip cookies. So thank you.